Well, we are also being joined by a management, Mr. B. Thiagarajan, Joint MD at Blue Star, joining us on the phone line. Good afternoon, Mr. Thiagarajan. Good to have you on the show. Let's start off with your first reaction as far as the approval of the 7th Pay Commission is concerned. Internal targets, how much are you working with? How much of volume growth, positivity do you see by way of a push in the personal disposable income? Let's start from there at a broader view, and then we'll go into specifics.
Yeah, thank you for talking to me. It is a very positive news. We have been awaiting this right from January. It didn't happen, so that is also good because there will be arrears for a period of 3 months, I suppose. The arrears should be for a period of 6 months now. And our guess is that it will be anywhere between 7.5% to 10%. Growth should be there over and above what would have been a normal growth. So we all had a great summer. The industry would have grown by around 30% in air conditioners, at least. And in the Q1 FY17 will witness that growth. Going forward in Q2, there is supposed to be a dip due to monsoon. Normal circumstances, I would have guessed the growth will be around 10%, but because of this pay commission, it can boost the demand by 7.5 to 10%. But I will not look at Q2 alone, Q2 and Q3 together, because the festival season related purchases may get advanced to Q2. And because impulsively the consumers end up spending. So on the whole, it is a very positive thing for our industry.
Right. Mr. Thiagarajan, how much of an impact, and I know this can be a really loose question at this point because further details and customer trends as to how tier 2 and tier 3 is panning out needs to be gauged once the payouts actually happen and there is a movement of real money and disposable income. But in terms of internal targets or projections, what have you been working with, and specifically in the tier 2 and tier 3 geographies that you target?
Tier 3, 4, 5, we have seen much larger growth than tier 1 and 2. It is monsoon dependent, and the forecast is that the monsoon will be good. So compared with last year, if you are talking about tier 3, 4, 5 alone, it could be potentially growing by around 20%. And in tier 3, 4, 5, actually you will not have much of the government employees located that way because they are concentrated between tier 1 and 2 in very large numbers. But on the whole, for the air conditioning industry, the summer was good and the monsoon is good, means tier 3, 4, 5 operate well, and disposable income going up is a welcome sign. And it is not only for room air conditioners. In our case, we have seen growth in refrigeration products as well, like deep freezers driven by ice cream consumption, or due to fast food industry's growth in the cold storage industry as well. And also we saw the summer water coolers or bottled water dispensers growing very significantly.
Right. Mr. Thiagarajan, also in terms of the summer season, I mean, what is the kind of volume traction that you have seen in the summer months that have gone by, and what is the differential as opposed to the year ago period? If I can ask you, what has been the volume growth been for the bygone summer months?
April and May, more than 40% growth we saw. In fact, May, it was more than 50%. Most of the players reported so. In May, there was mixed things. Some parts it rained actually, the East Coast specifically. But North did well in May second half and June first half. The quarter one is not yet over. So as I mentioned that it will be at least 30% growth. And coming to the product category wise, the inverters and 5-star, in our case, we do well. We are very strong in these high-end products. And in any case, the higher energy efficiency products are being bought in large numbers. Inverters is growing from a small base. It used to be 8% of the total air conditioner industry volume. It would have touched around 15% in this summer. And going forward, we think that by 2018, some 30% to 40% should be inverter. By 2020, inverter may be dominating the industry with around 70%. It's almost like a LCD television. So in terms of product innovation or the changes that are happening in that space, the inverter is the new story.
All right. Mr. Thiagarajan, in terms of something like a seventh pay commission, the product categories that are more likely to see traction are more the retail consumers. Say, for instance, the room air conditioner category that you have, or even if you take a stretched estimate, maybe central air conditioning. But in terms of industrial and institutional clientele, which I'm assuming is the more revenue accretive portion of your sales, how do you see that breakup panning out? And do you see the retail portion, the room air conditioning segment, really? Can you separately give us a gauge of volume growth in the room AC space?
Within the room air conditioners, consumption by the other one, no, the light commercial is growing at around some 10% or so. These are small offices, shops, showroom, boutiques, that kind of stuff. The large corporates, you do not see any kind of significant growth. Year on year, it will always will be growing by 8 to 10%, and there are not, we do not see a huge breakthrough. The real indicator in the large space is the employment generation. The organized sector in cities, for each person employed, he will create at least 50 to 60 square feet of air conditioning. If 1 lakh people are employed in a city, 60 lakh square feet of air conditioning space that is the thumb rule you can follow. That we are not yet seeing at all. It normally begins with residential, moves on to light commercial, which there are enough indications it is growing. Then comes the large spaces. Still, I think there are enough vacant places that are getting occupied. So we have to wait for that to open up.
All right. And in terms of the residential and the light commercial, Mr. Thiagarajan, at the risk of being repetitive, could you highlight to us as to what are the projections, or what are your forecasts of volume growth in those categories?
So residential can grow, has the potential. Going by the summer figures, it has the potential to end the year FY17 with 30% growth. Because monsoon is good, means tier 3, 4, 5 becomes active. Disposable income, the complete festival season commencing from the time the 7th pay commission payout happens will be good. So there is a potential to grow by at least 30%. Light commercial, the growth was 10% or so in Q1. I have a feeling it has the potential to end the year with around 15% growth. But still, the global market should be stable. As of now, the Indian market has taken it very well in the right perspective. Let us wait and see how the year opens up.
All right, Mr. Thiagarajan, thank you so much for joining us on an important day like this. We'll leave it at that. But thanks for your view and perspective. Well, let's also address quickly